morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever the time may be when you're viewing this. My name is Eugene Ellis. I've been practicing law for 4 decades now, and I've been doing only DUI defense except for the first 3 years. So 37 years I've been doing one single kind of law. I want to give you a disclaimer before I start. This is going to read you a letter from a prominent political or religious leader in America. But before I get to the letter, I want to tell you that anything I say is my personal opinion, unless specifically stated as fact. Also, I want you to understand that I do not know and have never talked to Donald Trump, although I support him. But I do not know the man personally. The closest I ever came to knowing Donald Trump was my wife and I, many years ago, went to a Trump school. And after listening to the instructions received, the material received, the education received, we found that we were given our money's worth and then some. So I personally, anyway, can attest to that, as a matter of fact. But this is my opinion after 40 years practicing law in San Diego. Some of you may have seen me before on YouTubes that I have produced about graft and corruption in the judicial system, in the court systems, and having to do with the prosecution of people accused of drunk driving law. But that's not what this is about. There's a letter. It's very important, I think, that you hear about it. So let me start, and it's in small print, so if I misread something, I'll go back over it. This was sent to me by one of my prominent trial attorneys, and he says, interesting take on Trump. William J. Bennett, host of Bill Bennett's Morning in America show, is one of America's most important, influential, and respected voices on cultural, political, and educational issues. He has one of the strongest Christian worldviews of any writer in modern times. What I see what's happening in the Donald Trump presidency by Bill Bennett. They will kill him. This is not a wild-eyed conspiracist. This is a person well steeped in the political quagmire that we now endure. They will kill him before they let him be president. It could be a Republican or a Democrat that instigates the shutting up of Trump. Don't be surprised if Trump has an accident. Some people are getting very nervous. Barack Obama, Valerie Jarrett, Eric Holder, Hillary Clinton, John Cousin, to name just a few. It's about the unholy, and I want to mark that, unholy, in my opinion, the ones who have been vilifying anybody that says Merry Christmas. In my opinion, the ones who have mounted for many years now a secret, clandestine war, religious war against Christians. But anyway, that's not what Bill Bennett said. He said it's about the unholy dynamics between big government, big business, and big media. They all benefit by the billions of dollars from this partnership, and it's in all of their interests to protect one another. It's one for all and all for one. It's a heck of a filthy relationship that makes everybody filthy rich. Everybody except the American people. We get ripped off. We're the patsies. But for once, the powerful socialist cabal and the corrupt crony capitalists are scared. The over-the-top reaction to Donald Trump by politicians of both parties, the media, and the biggest corporations of America has been so swift and insanely angry that it suggests they are all threatened and frightened. Donald Trump can self-fund No matter how much they say to the contrary, the media, the business, the political elite understand that Trump is no joke. He could actually win and upset their nice, cozy apple cart. It's no coincidence that everybody has gotten together to destroy Donald Trump. It's because most of the other politicians are part of the good old boys club. They talk big, but they won't change a thing. They are all beholden to big money donors. They are all owned by lobbyists, unions, lawyers, gigantic environmental organizations, and multinational corporations like Big Pharmacy or Big Oil. Or they are owned lock, stock, and barrel by foreigners like George Soros owned Obama, or foreign governments own Hillary and their Clinton Foundation donations. These run-of-the-mill establishment politicians are all puppets owned by big money. But there's one thing who isn't beholden to anybody. There's one man. There's one man who doesn't need foreigners or foreign governments or George Soros or the United Autos workers or the union, teachers unions or the Service Employees International Union or the Bar Association to fund his campaign. Billionaire tycoon and maverick Donald Trump doesn't need anyone's help. It means he doesn't care what the media says. He doesn't care what the corporate elite think. That makes him dangerous to the entrenched interests. That makes Trump a huge threat to those people. Trump can ruin everything for the brided politicians and their spoiled slave masters. Don't you ever wonder why the GOP has never tried to impeach Obama? Don't you wonder why John Bonner and Mitch McConnell talk a big game but never actually try to stop Obama? Don't you wonder why Congress holds the purse strings yet has never tried to defund Obamacare or Obama's clearly illegal executive action on amnesty for illegal aliens? Bizarre, right? It defies logic, right? First, I guess many key Republicans are being bribed. Literally bribed. I'll tell you about that later. Secondly, I believe many key Republicans are being blackmailed. And I'll talk about that later. Whether they are having an affair or secretly gay or stealing tax money, the National Security Agency knows everything. Ask former House Speaker Dennis Hastad about that. The government even knew he was withdrawing large sums of his own money from his own bank account. The NSA, the SEC, the IRS, and all the other three-letter government agencies are watching every Republican political leader. They surveil everything. Thirdly, many Republicans are petrified of being called racist, so they are scared to ever criticize Obama or call out his crimes, let alone demand his impeachment. Fourth, why rock the boat? After defeat or retirement, if you're a good old boy, you've got $5 million per year, lobbying, job waiting. The big money interests have the game sewed up. Win or lose, they win. But Trump doesn't play by any of their rules. Trump breaks up the nice, cozy relationship between big government, big media, and big business. All the rules are out the window if Trump wins and the presidency. The other politicians will protect Obama and his aides, but not Trump. Remember, Trump is the guy who publicly questioned Obama's birth certificate. He questioned Obama's college records and how a mediocre student could get into an Ivy League university. Now he's doing something no Republican has the pizzazz to do. He's questioning our relationship with Mexico. He's questioning why the border is wide open. He's questioning why no wall has been built across the border. He's questioning if allowing millions of illegal aliens into America is in our best interest. He's questioning why so many illegal aliens commit violent crimes and yet are not deported. And he's questioning why our trade deals with Mexico, Russia, and China are so bad. Trump has the audacity to ask out loud why American workers always get the short end of the stick. good question. I'm certain Trump will question what happens to the almost $1 billion given in a rigged big bid contest to college friends of Michelle Obama or foreign companies to build the defective Obamacare website. By the way, the tab is now up to $5 billion on that website. Trump will ask if Obamacare's architect can be charged with fraud by selling it by lying. Trump will investigate Obama's widespread IRS conspiracy, not to mention Obama's college records. Trump will prosecute Clinton and Obama for fraud committed to cover up Benghazi before the election. How about the fraud committed by employees of the Labor Department when they made up dramatic job numbers at the last jobs report before the 2012 election? Obama, the multinational corporations, and the media need to stop Trump. They recognize this could get out of control if left unchecked, telling the raw truth and asking questions everyone else is afraid to ask. Trump could wake a sleeping giant. That's you and me, folks. That's the sleeping giant. Trump election would be a nightmare. Obama has committed many crimes no one else but Trump would dare to prosecute. He will not hesitate. Once Trump gets in and gets a look at the crooked books and the Obama records, the game is over. The jig is up. The goose is cooked. Holder could wind up in prison. Jarrett could wind up in prison. Obama, bungler, Kozine could wind up in prison for losing $1.5 billion of customers' money. Clinton could wind up in jail for depleting 32,000 emails or accepting bribes from foreign governments while Secretary of State, or for misplacing $6 billion as the head of State Department, or for lying about Benghazi. The entire upper-level management of the IRS could wind up in prison. Obama will be defunded and dismantled. Obama himself could wind up ruined, his legacy in tatters. Trump will investigate. Trump will prosecute. Trump will go after everyone involved. That's why the dogs of hell have been unleashed on Donald Trump. My note. You can tell how much they hate him by how many millions and millions of dollars. What would happen if they applied all those millions of dollars to block our borders properly so that only proper people could come in? What would happen? But let me get back to the letter. Yes, it becomes open season on Donald Trump. The left and the right are determined to attack his policies, harm his business, and if possible, even keep him out of the coming debates. But they can't silence him, and they sure can't influence him. The more they try, the more the public will realize that the one telling the truth, the only one telling the truth, is Donald Trump. Ladies and gentlemen, there's another government within our government. But what I want to do is ask you to take a quick peek, if you can focus the camera on our Founding Fathers. Can you switch the cameras to the Founding Fathers picture? I want you to imagine for a minute in that picture of Founding Fathers that you made a little space and put the little short guy, Cruz, in there. Wouldn't you say there's something wrong with this picture? Now I want you to put the other Cuban American in the picture in there. Wouldn't you say the same thing? This doesn't look right. Now I want you to put Donald Trump in there, and he would fit right in. Bold, says what he thinks, says things that no politician would say because they're the truth, and that's why people are in support of him. The truth will always feel good inside your head, even though we've been taught by the media, which is controlled by international interests. And that media will tell us, to every one of us, what we need to think about is right, what's wrong, what we should like, what we should hate. And frankly, they're controlled by very, very black-hearted people, in my opinion. They are trying to change an entire nation, and if they can't change you, they'll dilute you with millions of people that come from countries that don't have freedom like we do. Once they get enough people in, they're going to cry apartheid, and then all the leaders will be replaced, all the politicians, and then from there on out it's a slide down and our enemies will take advantage of us. There's only one way you can stop. If you're so lucky in your lifetime to get somebody that's going to actually tell the truth. Now don't misunderstand, this isn't Hispanic, this isn't anti-Mexican. It might be anti-Cuban if we get any more people like the Cubans up there now, but it's not anti-Mexican, it's not anti-black, anti-anything. It's that the Mexican people themselves, like the Chinese people that when we went to China a couple of months ago, and the Vietnamese people, the kids only want what every American kid wants. It's the governments that are bad. What we need is to have an immigration policy with the brightest of the nations. The old, bring me your huddled masses, bring me your sick, bring me your old, comes from a time in America when you just putting your flag on a piece of raw land, and America was wild with savages raping and killing and kidnapping white settlers. Putting your flag on a piece of land did not guarantee that you would have that land for your people. So England had charters, France had charters. France sent originally their criminals to America to try to hold down in New Orleans and those places to justify, because only the races that can bring, and nations that can bring enough of their settlers in, can lay claim to a land. So that's where bring me your huddled masses and your poor and your sick and your old came from. That's where. Now we need the smartest. We need the brilliant people from Africa, from China, from Mexico, from all over. There are no racial color barriers with truly star children, the children that can solve our oceans that go underneath the earth, all around the earth. They're little oceans, the wells tap into them in some cases. So contaminated with benzenes that with our current technology it will take 3,500 years to clean it up. Nobody will have drinking water. What I'm saying, folks, is whatever you do, vote for a truth teller. So I want you to sit there. They say 3/4 of the human brain is not doing anything, the scientists say. Well, that's how stupid they are. God or whatever you believe in doesn't make something that isn't used. The subconscious in the human brain has the truth. So I want you to relax. Turn off the television. Forget these morons that you're looking at that are paid lackeys on CNN. Can't you see? 9 people are attacking Trump, and if you're lucky, they might put one person, and then they yell louder than that person so you can't hear what they say. They're afraid of something. That's not normal commentary. They're afraid of something if an outsider gets in and turns the apple cart upside down. The Republicans are afraid. Haven't you wondered why? You turn hard left, you get the Clintons, you get the same thing. You turn hard right, you get the CIA, Bush and his father and all those entrenched guys, same thing. Reverse redlining, for example. You turn hard left again and you get a committed socialist, Obama, who just bought a house in Dubai and fired a general because he commented on the house in Dubai. And you get the same thing or worse. Now we have Republicans in there. But why haven't the Republican Party that has control of the Congress, the Senate, and the House, why haven't they made these changes and done something about immigration? Because they're controlled by a small group of people. They actually, and you'll find this hard to believe, but I had my own radio show, Controversial News Network, and I had Paul Finley, Congressman Paul Finley. These people, these secret, unholy people that hate Christ, hate Christians, actually required a pledge to support their country, right or wrong, or they couldn't get financing. Are you beginning to understand? You want to learn more? Go to these discs you can't get anymore. I don't think they're being produced. It's called The Other Side of Deception by Victor. I'm going to spell it Ostrovsky. It's a book that is produced by him with the same name, The Other Side of Deception. And this is written by a top Mossad agent. It'll help you to understand some of the currents that go underground in our society. This is the second book you won't be able to put down. Once you start reading it, and it's the truth, and it'll read like some incredible Agatha Christie movie. I want you to understand some things that we ordinary people are not allowed to know about. This is called The Lone Gladio. And this is by the woman that also wrote the Classified Woman. These books will help you to understand an America that nobody in the press is going to talk about, because the press is owned. Our founding fathers initially figured, well, nobody could own 5 million newspapers, so 5,000 newspapers across the country, so we'll give them tremendous power, the press. But what if, instead of 5,000 papers, what if there were only 5 or 6 or 7 major papers in the world? They could be infiltrated. Well, that's what you've got. Because the average little newspaper in Des Moines, Iowa, that talks about Joe's cow ate Aunt Nellie's carrots has to depend on the wire services. So these people who have done this in every country they've gone into have collected and gained access to and gained control of the wire services. In the Vietnam War, if a reporter wanted to report how the Americans were giving candy to the little orphan kids, the reporter said, if I report that, I'll be without a job. The wire service reporters control the eyes and ears of millions, and the CNN and Fox News control what you are supposed to think is good and what you are supposed to think is bad. Reject it, because this is your last chance. You're not going to get another chance. Would a member of the establishment actually suggest, who isn't a conspiracy theorist, that they will try to kill him? We have had assassinations by prominent leaders, starting with Kennedy, or starting way back with Forrestal, who was the first Secretary of Defense, and what he was going to say. And they put him in a mental institution, and then they killed him when his brother was going to get him out the next day. We need somebody that's going to tell the truth. You may like his language, you may not like his language, you may not agree with everything, but you can see he's a fast learner. He's learning very quickly what it takes, and he will work with the generals. Look at North Korea. That's China's puppet. If they want to do something and then have plausible deniability, like fire a nuke or sink some of our ships, and they will test a Rubio, and they will test a Cruz, because they just don't look presidential, and they don't look like they've got any real backbone. It's all talk and no do. But a Donald Trump, China has already indicated and sent a message to the American people: do not vote in Donald Trump. He's the one guy that they know will face them down and back it up with a military he's going to build. Everyone in the military, if you want to increase your rank and you vote for Donald Trump, because he's going to expand the military and your ranks are going to go up as the new people come in. You're without jobs, you'll be in the military, you'll get good jobs, good food, be able to support a family and a home, because the military is going to double or triple. Where is the money going to come from to do that? It'll come from the most incredible idea that the world has ever seen, the free enterprise system. He will see to it that you move out. Now look at how Hillary Clinton is now talking about the same thing Donald Trump talked about, exactly the same thing. We're going to get those companies that leave. They found out it resonates with you, and they're going to talk about it. But who's going to do it? Who built giant towers and made deals? Do you think making a deal is cheating people? Any deal maker that's successful realizes the basic rule, golden rule, that to be successful, it has to be win-win. It can't be win and lose. It has to be win-win. And you need somebody tough. Tell me who looks like the founding fathers. Cruz, Rubio, they look like children. Donald Trump looks like the kind of people. And Donald Trump, I understand, is half German, half Scottish, or some such. The Scots and the Germans were the only two races that Rome couldn't defeat. The Teutonic tribes in Germany and the Highlanders in Scotland turned the Romans back. They couldn't defeat them. We want somebody like that defending our country. I have no other relationship to Donald Trump. I didn't meet the man, but I want you to do one thing before we turn this off. I want you to let your subconscious mind work. Turn off the TV, turn off everything, and ask your own subconscious mind. Our children's children will be moving objects with their mind. If you think it's a joke, you just haven't educated yourself on where our mental acuity is going with the young kids, and as we grow more and more sophisticated. Is he a tough guy? He's a tough guy. Okay? You want a guy that's going to be very all talk, and then the Chinese will come and punch him right in the nose, and he won't do anything except go cry. That's my opinion. I'm Eugene Ellis. Look for my YouTubes on the graft and corruption in the political arena. Get these books I told you about, The Other Side of Deception, by the Mossad, high-ranking Mossad official that ordered Bush Sr. to be killed by awaking 2 Iranian sleepers, according to the Mossad top official. This book, you won't be able to put it down. It'll turn on fire in your hands. Robert Maxwell, Israel's super spy, the life and murder of a media mogul. The classified woman. They had to gag her because she was going to tell who was involved in the United States government with 9/11. Gag her. These are books you need to read if you want to find out a little more than what you're getting fed by the mass media that is in a total control of the people who have been robbing you for years, robbing you of your jobs, robbing you by deporting our industry. Women, to the women in America, I suggest to you one thing. Factories bringing back industry to America from China will have all new industries, and women can do those jobs as well or better than men.